I love looking at that second. I think it was the second video that we did. I don't know why the camera is
floating
like here.
torso of Darien.
Yeah. And I was wearing like something black. So it was like, now moving forward, it's like, I need some table. With that said, everybody, welcome to episode 338 of Pero Let Me Tell You. Vite.
See, that was worthy of applause.
I'm on top of
the numerical
yeah,
order
just give
of
me a couple
things.
more weeks and I'll
Then
be
you'll be
like,
off again. It's fine.
You know, we're in episode 450.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Or I'll shoot like a regular, like 273.
Be like, no, sir, that's not quite right.
You know what I do sometimes with our episodes, since we've had so many? I'll pick a random number, like episode 192, and then I'll go back and be like, what did we talk about? Play.
Oh, that's a
It's
fun.
like, it's Pero Let Me Tell You roulette.
It is. It's Pero Roulette.
Pero roulette. You know what was so
lot less
funny?
lethal.
That like for our first like 30 episodes, I knew which episode was which. Like I'm like, oh, episode 24. We talked about this. This was a final sodas, blah, blah, blah. But then, you know, I'm not.
Then we did 300.
Then
plus.
we did 300 plus, and I'm not Mary. What's Mary Lou?
Mary Lou Henner.
Henner. I'm not Mary Lou Henner. So
She remembers everything that's ever happened to her.
that must be exhausting.
Not even exhausting, just how awful. Because there are some things we all care to forget.
Yeah, I want to forget.
Like, you know, like that, to remember it to that degree.
Yeah.
No.
I remember like really bad stomach aches. I remember, you know what? I remember really bad stomach aches, especially when I go on vacation. Yeah, like I remember one time I was in front of the Roman Coliseum and I'm like, que tenía tremendo dolor de barriga. That's never happened to you?
Not at the Roman Coliseum. No. Not at the Coliseum. Not at the Coliseum. Not at the Roman Coliseum, or not when I was dancing at the Coliseum in Fort Lauderdale either.
No Coliseums, you know.
No.
Yeah.
No. Neither one. Funny enough.
Okay, seriously. Before we get into any other business this week, we want to just address what happened in Santo Domingo this week.
What exactly do they know what happened?
I know right now they don't like, they were saying that structurally there were a lot of things that were placed on the ceiling of the club. You know, for those of you who don't know, this week in Santo Domingo, the Dominican Republic, this very high-end profile club.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how many celebrities were there.
Yeah, the ceiling and the structure collapsed. And at least the last time I checked, I think 45 people had died. Several celebrities, Rudy...
I want to say Perez, but I know it's not.
Passed away. There were a couple of athletes. And I mean, just a terrible tragedy. And we posted it earlier in the week about it. We love our Dominican primos, and just a terrible, just awful thing that happened there. So, you know, our hearts go out to the people of Santo Domingo and
everyone affected.
You know, our Dominican primos. It's really, really tough. Just terrible. The images coming out of there, and now all like the videos surfacing of like when the inside when the ceiling collapsed. Just very, very tragic.
Yeah. No, and I mean, it's a club. You know what I mean? So all these people were like just having a good time, and something like this happened. It's
you know
awful.
that like I'm very, I think it's just something that comes with as you get older. I'm very weary of crowds. That I'm not allergic to being in a crowd. I'm not one of these people that can be in a crowd. I'm in crowds all the time.
Yeah.
But I think I've mentioned this to you. I just do it as second nature. Every single time I go somewhere, I always see where the exits are.
I have started to do that since you mentioned to me that you do it.
I do it. Like it's
not as frequent as you, but
it's
yes.
second nature. I don't even think about it. I look to see where the exits are because I always want to make sure to know where they are, because I never in a panic want to exit through where I entered, because that's where everybody instinctively goes. That's not to say, God forbid, in a moment of panic, I'll be
right. You'll just be like, that way.
But I always do. I always look at the exits to know where they are. And that all came from in 2003. There was a fire
This is recentish.
at a club in Rhode Island.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that
They were at a rock band was playing.
it was a rock band that was playing, and the band had pyrotechnics
on the stage, and I told them no.
And this was like a small little club with like a very low ceiling.
Rat?
I forget. And they had a pyrotechnics, and when the pyrotechnics caught fire, the ceiling caught fire, and people thought it was part of the show. So within minutes or seconds, the whole ceiling was engulfed, and a lot of people died there. And most people died because they were trampled on, because everybody was heading through the exits. And that was one of those things, man. We started on a somber note this week.
I know.
That was one of those things that
uplifting.
just always stuck with me. So ever since then, that like really had an effect on me. I always look at the exits. It's just something instinctually that I do at this point. I'm like, the exits
are here. Here.
Yeah. Like I keep to mind where they are.
You have Kylie in your head.
You never want to exit where you came in through. That's like the rule of thumb.
Right.
I mean, sometimes you don't have a choice.
Well, if there's only one entrance exit, then yes.
But then that would be a place that's against fire code. But that doesn't really mean anything.
So then you're in Hialeah.
You're surprised there was an entrance.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, how did I even get in here?
That you didn't have to crawl in there.
Yes, I know. So before we get into like topics, I do want to shift a little bit just to make a little happier thing. I just want to, because I've already given a last soda, but I just want to say, Junior, I just want to thank you, because I came in here like being like just annoyed with the world.
Era tremendo vómito.
I was, and like chunky. It wasn't even smooth. And I came in here, and you were just, you changed my entire mood. Like I got a patent pending Junior hug, and then just like you were just literally sitting there, just like, so what's wrong, bro? And I just word vomited everything, and just, you know what, you made me feel a lot better afterwards.
And
so just thank you for being
to add to that. What did I say when I walked in? I didn't know what was going on. What did I say when I walked in?
You were like a Junior hug.
I was like, Junior's hug is something I look forward to all week. I'm like, Junior's hug.
Yeah, Junior's hug. Yes. So patent that.
Yeah.
I don't know how you would patent a hug, how you get that to the masses, but do it.
No, but as he said at one time, he gives hugs with a lot of soul.
Yes.
I hug with I hug with my heart and my soul.
Yes. So I just wanted to,
and you needed one. And then we talked about the Disney hugs.
Yes, which I didn't know.
Yeah.
What are Disney hugs?
Oh.
So Disney characters are taught to give a hug and not let go until the person hugging them lets go, because you don't know how much they need that hug.
In the theme parks?
Yep.
Really?
So that's like a Disney golden rule that's taught to all their characters. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It makes sense, but
And I like that that's still the case nowadays. You know, that, we've become so...
Some of us might just be there forever. Like, honestly, nowadays I'd be like, you know what, Mickey, it's a sleepover now. Just go.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
You know what though? It's just I guess just it's an evolution of society, I guess, that we have to be very, and I understand, observant of people's personal space.
Right.
Because we never know what's on the other end, right? What that person has gone through. But it is true that hugs are the best. And even like
a good hug,
even
absolutely.
like if it's somebody you don't know or don't know well, it's like a hug is like,
sometimes a hug from a stranger is oddly more comforting.
Yeah.
Because they don't know you, they don't have the baggage.
I've been
attached.
told I give good hugs.
You give good hugs.
I look like a hugger. See, the thing about Junior,
you're built like a hugger, but Junior's not.
Junior is not. But then you hug Junior, and it's like where did all this
mass come from?
I'm being transported somewhere. Like it's like I'm feeling the vibes.
I have told you, I'm gonna have like a hug off between Junior and Christian from Lucha Do.
Oh, he gives good hugs.
He gives good hugs as well. And then like I want to both of you hug me and then hug each other. Like I want to see if like some type of hug time continuum like just, envelops you both or something.
And then there's bad huggers.
Yeah.
That's like hugging a broom.
Oh. Yeah, there's people who can barely do like the and then it's like,
or the people that do with the tip of their fingers.
Yeah, what's that about? Like who hugs? No, stop it. Learn how to hug. Who didn't hug you as a child?
Learn how to hug.
You also have the people that do the pull up hug, where they scoop under your arms and kind of like hook onto your shoulders.
Oh no.
And then
Oh.
they're
No.
kinda
I
like-
am not gym equipment.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, but that's a whole other
That's a-
level of hugging.
Yeah, those are weird. I don't know. I don't understand these people. No.
Yeah, that's a whole other hug.
Yeah, and I don't. I mean,
You know what's great though?
No.
You know what totally changed my life? Huggable hangers.
from Joy Mangano.
Well, I didn't buy hers. I bought the knockoff. Who are we? Have you ever used huggable hangers?
I have used Huggable hangers. Yes.
Okay. Listeners, I'm not being paid by
Yeah, there's no sponsorship here.
Joy Mangano.
Yeah.
I'm not paid by Home Shopping Network.
We're
or
not getting free
QVC.
Rolly kits.
I'm not being paid by whatever the knockoffs are. Huggable hangers, o sea, those hangers that are really thin with the little velvety thing, those things will revolutionize your closet. Because I was
If there's one place I want a revolution, it's my closet.
no,
Yes.
because I'm very like, I hate to say it, I'm very Joan Crawford. The wire hangers annoy the shit out of me. And it's not even that they're wire. I don't care that they're wire. It's that they're generally bent.
they're not sturdy.
I like uniformity in hangers, right?
Yes. Well, I mean, yeah, Joe.
So then I remember when I lived in the condo, I had all the wooden, I bought only wooden hangers, which look great,
Right.
but they take a lot of space. So then when I switched over to huggable hangers, I increased closet space at least by 40%.
Look at the efficiency.
I'm telling you, people, buy those thin hangers.
I mean, if that is not the Joan Crawford seal of approval, I don't know what is. It's uniformity. It's efficient. You increase. I mean, listen, you know her shoulder pads took up space, so she could have
Yeah,
used
but
a
I'm
huggable
still
hanger.
sure she could beat the shit out of you with that huggable hanger.
Oh, velvet never hurt so much.
Is that a song?
It should be. I think I just wrote a country song.
Like
And that's why velvet never hurt so much.
What is velvet?
It's a material.
Isn't it like leather? I know what it is, but I do.
No, it's not leather. No.
It's furry and hairy, right?
Yeah. Leather? What kind of leather jackets are you wearing?
I don't wear leather jackets.
Okay, what leather jackets have you seen out in the public that you thought was furry and hairy?
Que tienen el pelito. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean
That's
by
velvet,
pelito.
yeah, but that's not
Tienen
leather.
el pelito, you know,
Yeah,
una cosita.
it's like if somebody gave like a shag carpet a crew cut is what velvet kind of reminds me of.
Okay, I don't know what that means. Okay, let's
A crew
move
cut.
forward.
You know what a
Let's-
shag carpet is, right?
Yeah, that's from the 70s, right?
And you know what a crew cut is, right? Like when they cut your hair like very, very, very short.
Like chatty thing, like a
Like,
military.
I was thinking military, not chatty thing, but yes.
Like-
yes.
The guy from Rocky.
Yes. Dolph Lundgren.
That's Rocky 4.
Dolph Lundgren.
That's Rocky 4.
The Russian? Yes.
Yeah, that is the best Rocky, and I will die on that hill. Just saying. Do we agree? Do we disagree?
I don't
Okay, I know the first Rocky's the most iconic,
because it's
the first one,
Fine.
but Rocky 4, man. I remember when I was a kid, I loved.
Was part 2 with Mr. T?
Yeah, I loved. ¿Cómo se llama? The singer. Living in the USA.
Living in America.
Living in the USA. Living in America. ¿Cómo se llama? James Brown.
James Brown. Yes, yes,
James
yes,
Brown.
yes.
Like, I love that part of the.
Well, because it's James Brown.
Right. And that movie came out in the height of the Cold War.
That's true.
War, so
That's
it's like,
true.
fuck the USSR.
That's true. And yet, you know, Dolph Lundgren, not Russian.
No?
No, I think he's actually Swedish or German, and he's actually brilliant. He was like a civil engineer or something,
Okay.
and he was also a bouncer, and he dated Grace Jones for a long time.
Que tremendo resume.
I know. Why do I know this much about Dolph Lundgren? I have no idea.
I don't even know who Dolph Lundgren is.
I don't know why I know this much about him, but yes.
Yeah. To me, he's the guy from Street Fighter.
But he's not.
I know he's not.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait.
That's why I said-
I had to go back and I'm like, wait a minute, that was Jean-Claude Van Damme. Okay.
No, not Street Fighter, the movie.
The video game.
The
Okay,
video game.
Okay,
Okay,
yes.
I don't
Okay,
know. I don't watch
okay.
Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. I'm sorry.
You
I
never
don't.
saw Bloodsport?
Nope.
You never saw Bloodsport?
No. 2 movies I've never seen. 2 actors whose movies I've never seen. And this is coming from somebody who loves movies. Is Jean-Claude Van Damme, or if I saw it because Jean-Claude Van Damme was one of these people that his movies were on TV a lot.
Right, that's what I'm saying. How did you escape Bloodsport?
Right. So I'm sure I saw parts of it. I've never cared to see any of his movies or Steven Seagal. Nope, not doing it. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I don't think you know what?
I offended a lot of people there.
You know,
I
well,
know.
that's it. Steven Seagal is never coming on our show.
I know.
now.
It's our friend, the comedian Neri Sons, is probably like,
I've never seen a Seagal movie.
throwing something. Nope. I've never
seen
cared
a
for them.
Steven Seagal movie. And I haven't gone out of my way to avoid them. I just haven't.
Give me Stallone and Arnold.
Yeah, you know.
I'm a 90s kid.
Well, I mean, so Van Damme and Seagal were 90s too.
Right, but...
No, I'm saying, I mean, they were 90s.
Yeah, but it was Stallone and Arnold.
Oh, no, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think Tango and Cash is super underrated.
I mean, of course. I mean, you've got Stallone, you've got Kurt Russell, and you've got Terry Hatcher.
Yeah.
I mean, what more do you need?
What more do you need?
Sign me up.
Yeah. I mean, listen, when it came out, I remember from Arnold, The Last Action Hero was like a total bomb and everybody hated that movie. I think that movie is really good.
I saw it only once, so I can't speak to
I
really
love
good.
it. I love it.
I remember enjoying it as a kid because it was a wish fulfillment fantasy.
And I had the cup from Burger King that used to have the thing. I had it until maybe 10 years ago.
I remember having it too.
Yeah. So whatever. Back when cups meant something.
Yeah. Again, we used to be a proper culture.
Yeah.
As I say.
Now, McDonald's and Burger King no te dan ningún cup. Te dan unos jugueticos que son una mierda, you know.
Yeah. Although the Minecraft ones right now are actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
They're fun because they're McDonald land toys.
That's fine.
You know,
Fine.
who doesn't
Okay,
who doesn't like a blocky hamburglar?
That's fine.
I need you to be more excited about a hamburglar.
I mean, you know how I feel about McDonald's characters.
You don't dislike them.
To me, there's only one. And we know who it is. It's the big purple guy.
I love that
And
for
it's
you.
not
Grimace
Barney.
is like Highlander,
It's Grimace.
as it should be. No. I'm okay with this as a rule, but you know, but no.
Okay.
But I like
Let's
them all.
move right along. We're talking nonsense.
Well, that means that the show started.
Yeah, let's move right along.
I mean, that just means the show started. So, did you see that they brought back some wolf animal from extinction?
No.
You didn't. Okay.
The question's going to be what animal should they bring back, right? Bring back the T-Rex, bitch.
Well, I mean, sure. Let's go down that route. But basically, they brought out it's some wolf that was like extinct for I don't know how long, and it's kind of like it's like the Game of Thrones wolf essentially. And what they did was they found the DNA, and I don't know what the hell thing from like basically Jurassic Park this bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're saying like this wolf that has been extinct for like thousands of years has been successfully brought back.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I can't help but hear Jeff Goldblum in my head in Jurassic Park where he says, you know, just because you could, you didn't stop to think if you should. Because this is going to go careening into the night of bad ideas.
Okay, so I'm going to be honest with you. If we were to bring back animals, I know what animal I would want to bring back.
The dodo?
Absolutely.
So Whoopi Goldberg doesn't want to bring back the dodo.
No, bring me the dodo bird. I mean, the dodo bird is, you know how I am about peculiar animals.
This is true.
It's like,
this is true.
I don't care about no T-Rex.
No, I don't, you know what though? I feel the dodo bird is more valuable extinct.
Why? Because people are interested about the dodo
Right.
bird? Like,
I think the minute you bring it back, people are gonna be like, whatever, that thing that's in the corner. Like nobody's gonna care.
bring back the dodo bird.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know.
To me, the downside of this also is that now, because this can be done, people are just going to be like, well, fuck, why bother protecting any animals? You know what I mean? We'll just, it's extinct. We'll bring it back in a couple 50 years or whatever. Like,
I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know until, when I say recently, I mean the last 10 years or whatever, that how many little, like certain species there were. Like, I didn't know that tigers, for example, tigers are in the thousands.
Yeah.
In terms of how many are left in the world.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
You just assume.
In like the public consciousness, when you think of tigers, they're always there.
Right.
Right.
I mean, the Heat one has a job with breakfast cereals, you know?
And I don't know. You hear about endangered animals, but you're like the rhino, right?
The polar bear.
Right, but not the tiger. But then I started looking at the tiger population, and it's like in the thousands. Like when I mean thousands, I mean like under 10,000.
Yeah.
And the same with like certain types of elephants. Like I'm like, what? There's only a few thousand left. And then I don't know, rhinos, there's like 4.
There's like 2 pandas left.
Right. So it's like, wow, it's you don't really think about really the mortality of that species. Right. And then, you know, what sort of blows your mind is when people that are experts in that field, you know, doctors and scientists.
Are we still referring to those people?
when you have experts in that field talk about like all the species that have existed and how the current species that we have is like 1% or whatever. I don't quote me on the number, but like a very small percent of all the species that have existed.
Do you know that cows?
Mind blowing.
Do you know that cows are not naturally existing in
nature?
nature?
I just found that out like a week ago.
Okay, me too.
Yeah.
My mind was blown. I'm like, wait a minute. We like bred the cow with the cow is the result of an animal with some other animal, and
I found out about that in lemons.
In the same,
You know, from our lemon video, everybody was posting like, "Oh, lemons are a crossbreed between this and this and this."
Yeah, I didn't know that about cows.
Yeah, that's like, I didn't know that all dogs come essentially from wolves.
That makes sense.
Right? Dogs were all like they were bred to be certain breeds.
Right, to be domesticated.
To be domesticated. That's why you don't see any dogs in the wild. Are you thinking of Girls Gone Wild?
I'm just thinking of like dogs in the wild. Like it's
Pero bueno, tú eres un perro salvaje.
Okay, so now that is the next novela we're making.
Perro salvaje.
Perro salvaje.
Cuando tú eres un perro salvaje.
I mean, you see them in the street, but yes, not in the wild.
No, pero no son un salvaje.
Right. Un perro callejero, pero no un perro salvaje.
What about Homeward Bound? You remember that movie?
See, but they got in a certain situation.
Right. That was not a savage dog. That was a dog who found himself in a predicament.
Right.
Yes.
And then I was thinking like, oh yeah, you know that animals and mammals and all that are not my forte. Not my strong suit. Listen,
you can't know everything.
I can't know everything. I question what's a mammal, what's a reptile, and what's an amphibian all the time. I'm always like, did it lay an egg? But we're not going to go into that conversation.
Darien, it's a cat. No,
we're not going to go into that conversation. But anyway, I don't know a lot about animals.
No,
I don't.
You don't. But you know what? Admitting it is a first step.
It is.
Yes.
It is. Yeah. You know what I've never seen in my life, and I really want to see? I want to see a skunk.
I'm trying to think. Have I seen a skunk?
Listeners, have you seen a skunk?
I'm trying to think if I've seen a skunk.
How do you say skunk in Spanish?
Mofeta.
Mofeta.
Una mofeta. Don't ask me why I had that at the tip of my tongue. But yes, mofeta.
Something tells me that skunks don't exist in the Caribbean.
Well, we had the word right off the tip of my tongue. So clearly it was an animal that we talked about at some point in my...
I don't know. I don't see a tropical skunk.
Like it's what, like different colors
instead
of black and white.
Very like we're hanging around pine trees type stuff.
So it's like, you know, instead of black and white, brown and tan.
No. Do you know when I think of a skunk, what I always think of?
Well, Pepe Le Pew.
Of course.
I mean, the most famous skunk
of ever.
Who's also been canceled, but you know.
Why was Pepe canceled again?
Well, because essentially he is a little aggressive with the unwanted advances.
He is.
You know, he's a little predatory.
You know, have I ever told you what my favorite like skit scene of Pepe Le Pew is? Okay, there's a scene, and I mean, I'm sure a lot of you have seen it, where the cat that he thinks is a skunk. ¿Cómo se llama ella?
She has a name.
La loca esa.
Well, no, la loca, la pobre. She always finds herself... Again, through no fault of her own, she always finds a paint stripe on her back.
Somehow, they end up on a cruise ship.
Okay, I know this episode.
They end up on a cruise ship, and Pepe Le Pew swims to the cruise ship as a skunk does.
Well,
so then when he gets on the cruise ship, he's all wet. But then the next scene, you see him coming out of like the hairdresser, and he's all poofy. From the blow dryer,
yes.
And then he's like, "Oh la la, mon chevaux," and he's like singing some French song. Oye, ¿verdad que tenía esa gata sola, loca?
I know. I mean, you know, no means no, Pepe.
Pepe Le Pew.
Penelope Pussycat.
Thank you. I knew she had a name.
Penelope Pussycat.
Penelope. But I don't think he ever called her Penelope because she was mute. She never spoke. So on top of that, he was a predator on, like, you know, the disabled. Like,
are we really talking about this?
I think we are.
Fifi. He called her Fifi. And Favrette.
Are we really talking about Pepe Le Pew on our show this week?
I will say, I love the fact that when she was a skunk, in his mind, she became French. Instead of Penelope.
Oh,
He would call her Fifi.
Oh, Fifi. Oh. Mon chéri, je t'adore. Je t'adore. Vous, noirs chevaux. Je t'adore. Fifi, voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir?
Oh no. I mean, I know Looney Tunes is doble sentido, but that's too much. That's the line.
Well, being that that's probably from the 40s, he traveled in.
That's true. That's true. He was probably.
He traveled to the future.
He's hanging out with the future people.
Pepe Le Pew.
Pepe Le Pew. Oh.
Ooh la la.
Excuse me. Ooh la la.
Ooh, Alberto.
Ooh,
Do you remember those commercials? from the 1980s, those commercials for Alberto VO5 hot oil treatment.
Hot oil treatment. Was that like keratina? Is that what it was?
I don't know what that was.
I don't know. You're the hair guy on the show.
Yes, but when I was a kid, I was the hair guy, but you know.
No, just in general. You know more about hair than I do.
We in my house, we used as good Cubans, we used exclusively Minta de Perales.
Yes.
And let me tell you something about Minta de Perales. Let me tell you something about Minta de Perales. I need to find my picture with my Chico Minta shirt.
You sure do?
Because it's out there. Los
Do
cepillos.
you think Minta Perales has an archive where
I'm sure
you'll
she
find
does.
it?
I'm sure she does. Los cepillos de Minta de Perales were the best damn brush ever. You could brush your grandma's hair, the baby's hair, your hair, y hasta el caballo. You could brush anything with that. It was sturdy. It had a good handle, and the bristles were fire. That was the best brush there was. A cepillo de Minta de Perales, and I will die on that hill. It is the best brush ever. Anybody who's had that brush would agree.
Yeah. Feel free to DM us Minta de Perales company so that we can get free brushes, and we'll gladly promote it on the show.
Listen, Minta de Perales tenía.
Do you think it would brush your beard?
Absolutely. It could be a beard brush.
Okay.
Mira, Minta de Perales tenía el aceite letra S, which was great. Tenía el bálsam. Tenía el champú de leche. El champú de hierba for people with oily hair. El champú de limón. Yeah, Minta de Perales was like ahead of its time.
She was just like, she was a beautician, or was she?
She was a beautician and hairdresser in Cuba, and she had a cosmetology school in Cuba. She was very well known. And obviously that, you know, she did that here, and then here, you know, she was very popular. Successful. And she had, you know, those 5 minutos de Minta de Perales, where you would watch, you know, her apply her treatment. And if you think about it, like, seriously, I know we grew up on it and it's sort of nostalgic, but if you think about it, in the fact that in the 1980s, she was buying 5-minute spots to showcase her products.
She was the original infomercial.
She was. And everybody knew about los 5 minutos de Minta de Perales. Yeah. Like, everybody knew it. The kids knew it. La abuela knew it. Everybody knew it. Like, it was a big deal. And if you think about it, she was sort of ahead of her time.
Pioneer,
with that in terms of advertising space.
She was our version of Madam C.J. Walker. Madam C.J. Walker was one of the first black women to have her own business and become a millionaire, I believe. And she created hair care products for black women. And so, you know, Minta Perales, again, she was a hairstylist and she started working on these things. So, you know, the parallels are there.
Yeah. And again,
the brand is still around.
Yeah.
It had a rebrand, a refresh, but it's still around.
And again, I will die on that hill. If you had that Minta de Perales, ese cepillo de Minta de Perales, that thing will survive a nuclear holocaust. That was like the bottle of Mercuro Cromo that we talked about some weeks ago. That thing will survive anything. It'll be a little bit banged up. It'll have some stains, but that brush, that was a multi-generational brush right there. El cepillo de Minta de Perales. And we're not being paid by Minta de Perales Corporation.
At all. But see, that's what Cubans give as an heirloom.
Yeah.
They hand down the Minta de Perales cepillo.
We still have the Minta de Perales from 1986.
Wow. Eso todavía tiene cepillo? Like,
yes.
The bristles?
I'm not kidding. The quality is crazy. It's so good.
I wonder if the new ones are as good.
Oh, that I don't know.
That's you know, again, Minta de Perales, feel free to send it to Cultura Media, care of, but let me tell you.
Do you remember the song?
No.
Mirta, cuando quiere su cabello lleno de belleza, Mirta tiene la respuesta. Mirta tiene la respuesta.
But no. I remember the commercials was everybody turning around.
Oh yeah. And the big wicker chairs.
Yes.
Yeah. Everybody turning around.
Everybody turning around to show their
Listen,
new
when
look.
I was a kid, I had that little, what we would call el peladito de la calabaza, which for Anglos was Joy Lawrence.
Yeah, it was
hair.
like that Dorothy Hamill hair. Yeah.
Okay, I was going with Joy Lawrence. I was a boy.
Okay, fair
in
enough.
the
Fair
80s,
enough.
not
Okay, fair
a
enough.
girl who figure skated. Joey Lawrence was big.
This is true.
In the 80s.
This is true.
So
That bowl cut.
the bowl, that's what it's called?
Well, I mean, it's like a bowl. I mean, like it looks like somebody put a bowl on your head and just went to the town.
Wouldn't that be the
Like
mushroom cut? That's a smaller bowl.
The mushroom cut is a bowl that has nothing underneath. Like the mushroom cut was when they would do it, but then they would like shave underneath. The bowl cut was when you had all the hair still
Who
there.
had a mushroom cut? Did you have Junior? You look like you had a mushroom cut. No,
I think I did.
Yo no tengo ese pelo.
no.
I don't have that silky hair required for a mushroom cut.
Fair.
That,
God
I have
blessed
that
me with good
straight
genes.
hair. That you can't do it too. No.
Well, you can do a straight
Yeah,
hair.
no, you
I
do it with straight
remember, I
hair.
remember asking my mom for a flat top, and she had no idea what that was. And I told her kid and play. She had no idea who they were, so I had to say Bart Simpson. And that's immediately what she knew.
Your
what I was talking
hair
about.
model as a kid was Bart Simpson.
That's
Well,
all I had
he,
pretty
he
much.
tried
I
Kid and
tried
Play, and his mother hadn't seen House Party.
and had no idea. So
Right.
it
I mean,
was
well, it's not like you could-
Bart Simpson.
Bart Simpson.
Bart Simpson and a lot of hair gel.
Yeah,
Shout out to Sedanos.
it was probably LA Looks or Depp.
Oh yes.
LA looks.
LA looks.
LA looks.
You used to put LA Looks in your hair while wearing your LA gears.
LA gear. We were very LA forward that time. Very LA forward. That was after that we were British for a little while with the British Knights.
With the British Knights and the Reeboks. I remember my first pair of Reeboks like that I actually liked. So yeah, whatever. No. Okay, moving right along.
So yes.
But Reeboks are going to be a luxury item soon, but that's a conversation for another day.
That is a conversation for another time, another moment. So many things are going to be luxury items soon.
Yeah. So what else do you have this week?
Well, I have some other things, but you had mentioned that you wanted to bring something up. So I don't know if you.
Oh no, I just well, it wasn't a big deal.
No,
I
no, just because I didn't know.
I
how-
just
where-
I
how it
was
gonna fit
reading.
in.
I was reading because I'm not really into dolls. Nothing alpha male about it. I'm just not. I don't know much about Barbie.
Okay.
I mean, I feel so bad for my cousins. When I was a kid, I used
kicked
to.
your ass.
I did so many bad things to their Barbies that like I think my parents should have taken me to the doctor. Like my poor cousins used to get all these like really nice Barbies for Christmas, and I would like, you know what I would do? When my grandmother, this is my dad's mom, when my grandmother quitaba el café de la hornilla, I would throw the Barbie's head at la hornilla caliente. Yeah.
You know what? They should have done that shit to your He-Mans.
Well, no.
No, they should have. You know what?
and-
Pa' que aprenda.
Yeah, I was really messed up. I realized that I was the one who was wrong. And my cousins were always I was very close to them. I was really sweet to them.
And that's how you repaid them.
And that's how I repaid them, by mutilating their Barbies. But I really hated Barbies.
Por eso es que el huracán te quitó todos los He-Mans.
I know. Hurricane Andrew got rid of all my
Yes.
He-Mans. But
Hurricane
anyway,
Andrew was retribution.
so I can't say I follow the Barbie Corporation too much. I respect.
I do. I follow them on
I
Instagram.
respect what it is. But I was reading that LeBron James is getting a Barbie.
Yeah.
And he's the first athlete ever to get a Barbie. So I just thought it was kind of like,
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
like,
male athlete.
well, okay, male athlete.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, really?
Yeah.
There hadn't been any before? But then I stopped to think about it. I'm like, there weren't any before. So
No, yeah. So it's this whole thing that they're doing. Because again, I do follow Barbie on Instagram. Again, I'm pretty sure she's real, the same way I'm pretty sure Muppets are real. Based on
No, I don't feel that way about Barbie.
Based on the Instagram, like this,
Oh, okay.
like this doll is out there living life. Like
Barbie's living her best
like
life.
she was on the red carpet at the Met Gala. And
Is
you,
she?
And you
Has
can't,
she?
and you can't tell me she wasn't.
Okay.
Based on that picture. But yeah, so it's this. I think there's an anniversary for the Ken doll this year, and what they're going to be doing is they're going to be releasing several athlete. I think it's focusing on male athletes, and they're calling them Kenbassadors.
Oh,
And so LeBron was the first one. And then last year they did, they did, I think like it was one of the Williams sisters had one.
you know they should do one of.
athletes.
You know they should do one of. ¿Cómo se llama este loco? The actor.
Andy Dick.
No, Mickey
Rourke?
Yes. You know that mugshot of him?
Mickey Rourke as a Ken doll.
I would buy that Barbie.
I think it's the only Ken
You know
doll.
you would buy that Barbie too, Junior. You buy that
I don't know
Barbie.
why. I feel like that would be the only Ken doll that you could get a staph infection from. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Mickey Rourke does. I mean, I don't have anything against him, but he doesn't give me like clean vibes.
But you know that the mugshot of him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that.
Yes.
Like the Mickey Rourke one.
And you know they'd have to make it Mickey Rourke now.
With whatever face he has.
Right. Like, have you seen the picture of him with Axl Rose? That it's a couple years old at this point, but it says that they look like a lesbian couple that's opening a craft store in Vermont.
That's like this dude from Poison, Brett Michaels.
Bret Michaels, yeah.
If you still see him, he's always wearing the bandana with this long blonde flowing hair, and I'm like, Brett,
It's not.
listen. Even if you want to wear fake hair, let's make it a little bit more realistic. You really look like freaking Lady Godiva with this long blonde hair. Like, we know it's a hairpiece, and you know there's nothing wrong with that.
Own
but
it.
just don't wear it down to like your waist,
Right.
right? Like, do something a little more natural that a man who has long hair
At
in his
your
50s
age.
or 60s would have.
Yes.
But
No-
I'm like, Brett, who are you fooling?
Yeah, nobody's buying the Crystal Gale look.
Like, who are you fooling?
Yeah.
I actually saw something of him the other day, and I'm like, that's Bret Michaels from Poison?
What does he look like now?
Exactly the same.
Oh, okay.
He looks like he would be the trio to the
lesbian.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Except everybody knows lesbians don't do throuples.
I always say you got to be of a certain age to even get this context of this conversation.
Axl Rose and Mickey Rourke as lesbians?
When you look at no, when you look at the 80s, like the rock the hair band,
yeah.
like Motley Crue, Poison, Bon
Cinderella.
Jovi, all them, the ones who still look the best is Bon Jovi. And I've always said I think it's because they did the least drugs.
Yeah. Maybe it's also because they're from Jersey.
I don't know what it is, but I do think they were probably the ones who were level headed the most
Comparatively.
And John Bon Jovi looks like he has his shit together. You know, he probably had his moment, but you know,
Again, we're also it's a low bar for comparison. too.
Motley Crue, like those guys look.
It's a miracle they're alive.
Motley Crue, not now, but like even 20 years
Yeah.
ago, in the beginning of the 2000s,
Yeah.
they looked like zombies. And I think
No, Tommy Lee luce bien ahora.
no, and I think like these guys in the early 2000s were probably in their late 30s, early 40s, maybe. They were maybe like our age now.
Yeah.
And like they looked like they were dead. Like I was like, what happened to Motley Crue? Like, and I know that some
Cocaine's
of
a
them
hell
have
of a
been to
drug.
some personal stuff,
Yeah.
and that can. But all these other like hair bands of the 80s, like the ones that still se conservaban bien was Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
I also like Bon Jovi the best.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, you can love Bon Jovi. That if Bon Jovi looks like an aging broomstick.
What's our favorite
I mean?
Bon Jovi song?
I think we've had this conversation on
I'll
the show
be
before.
there for you. These 5 words I say to you
trying to think now,
when
what's
you
my favorite?
breathe. I wanna
was a
be
fun
the
concert.
air. You'll probably say something like "Always." Shot through the heart, and you're
don't
to
know.
blame. You give love a bad name.
Bad name.
Junior, what's your favorite Bon Jovi song? You give love a bad name.
Yeah.
That's a good song.
I mean, there's no bad Bon Jovi song.
You know you're right.
That's the thing. Like, even the worst Bon Jovi song is still a good song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going down in a blaze of glory. Can we have Bon Jovi on the show? John Bon Jovi?
Sure, John, if you're not,
Well,
if you're not
listen,
busy.
Tico Torres is
Tico,
Cuban.
that's right, that's
Tico
right.
Torres was in the band. Bon Jovi is
That's
Cuban.
right,
So
that's
Tico
right.
Torres, if you're watching, pero let me tell
If you're
you,
in the neighborhood,
stop by.
you know, he's a Jersey Cuban.
He's a Jersey Cuban.
Yeah.
What do I always say about Jersey Cubans? When Miami Cubans start getting all stupid, like, oh, we're the real deal. You Jersey Cubans aren't real. I'm like,
They always pull out that one card.
I'm like, yeah, but Jersey Cubans had Celia Cruz.
There you go.
And that's equivalent. Celia Cruz is equivalent to like 100 points of Cubanness.
It really
right?
is.
Like,
It really is. That's high Cubanity.
no, that is peak Cubanity.
Peak Cubanity.
There's nothing higher than Celia Cruz.
That's true.
I mean, what's
Jose
higher than
Marti.
Celia Cruz?
I'm saying that's the only thing higher than Celia Cruz. Jose Marti.
What's higher than Celia Cruz, really? In Cubanity.
In Cubanity, I mean, and it's this much. He edged her out by this much, just because he was there first.
Yes, in the Catskills.
In the Catskills, yes.
Right.
And yet, even in that case, see, even the northern U.S. got Jose Marti.
Yes. Okay. The Catskills are in New York.
Yes.
New York, New Jersey.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
Those Jersey Cubans are edging us out.
I mean, we have Gloria Stefan, though.
We do. We have Gloria. Yes.
I mean, Gloria.
Yeah.
Gloria is.
But the beauty of Gloria is that Gloria herself would say, yes, but I'm not Celia.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
So that's
but
why
I mean,
I feel like she'd be okay with us saying this.
And and Gloria and Emilio are, not only from Miami, but they are Miami.
They are Miami. They are made of the Freedom Tower.
That is who they are. Like, they should just put on the map Miami and their head.
Their heads.
Not their face, like the head, just the floating head. I mean,
At an angle.
sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I like that idea.
She's the godmother.
I mean, I think she's just the mother.
Oh, that's right. That's what the kids say.
That's
today.
what the kids say.
Mother
yes.
is mothering.
Mother is mothering and father is fathering, which sounds weird.
Yeah. So.
I don't like it.
Okay. Let's move right along.
Feeling fancy free.
Fun and fancy free.
Moving right along. Feeling fancy free. That's from the Muppet movie.
Oh, no. Fun and fancy free. There should be a list of like Disney movies nobody knows.
Oh, that's right. That is.
Fun and fancy free. The Black Cauldron.
Well, the Black Cauldron, I know.
Because of me.
Even though we've all tried to push it down in our
People,
memory.
have you ever seen The Black Cauldron? It's like an official Disney movie.
It is.
It's from the early 80s. Let me tell you something. That is some dark shit right there.
Seriously, no wonder they had to go to a Renaissance.
Yeah. It's like The Black Cauldron is that fun and fancy free.
Great Mouse Detective.
The Great Mouse Detective.
Oliver and Company.
Oliver and Company. The Rescuers.
The Rescuers Down Under.
The Rescuers.
The Rescuers had a sequel, y'all.
Yeah. I love this one, but it's not one of the most famous ones, the Aristocats.
I've never seen it.
The Tres Caballeros. I have a soft
I
spot.
think people remember the Three Caballeros
Yeah,
more than some of the other ones. Just
maybe.
because it also, I think because of Mexico.
Do you
and
know
Epcot.
what really upsets me?
Lord, what?
There's rumors. So for all our Disney adults out there listening, listen.
Okay.
There's rumors that they're going to change the IP of Mexico and Epcot Center to Coco.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And I was like, why? Nothing against Coco. I love Coco, but why? Like, why can't it be what it is?
Well, like we were saying about Coco Walk, they have to refresh things every once in a while.
Okay, refresh it. I don't know. Change the lighting. Cámbiale el agua.
That's not refreshing. That's maintenance.
Cámbiale el agua. El Rio en Mexico in Epcot Center. I don't know. Update the menu of the restaurant. No me quites a Donald, the sombrero.
I mean, I'm sure they can still be walking around.
I loved Malestorm in Norway, and now it's freaking Frozen, which I don't like Frozen.
Darien, just let it go.
I liked the Nordic stuff, the oil rigs that we used to pass by.
Wait, there's oil rigs
In Malestorm?
in Maelstrom?
Maelstrom? Is it Maelstrom or Malestorm?
It's spelled Maels. I think it's Strom. So I think it's Maelstrom.
Eso mismo. The Norway in Epcot. Norway. You know what was always
Wait, there was an oil rig?
Yeah. You know what was always so disappointing as a kid? For me as a kid, teenager, and even young adult. You know what was so disappointing? Why didn't the United States have a ride?
What would it be? A railroad, maybe?
Oh, I don't know. Nowadays, it would just be a...
No.
No, in Epcot.
You know
in
what?
Epcot.
Yeah, but maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. Because technically we already had like Main Street USA, so America was kind of taken care of in pockets of Disney.
Ismael, you're making up shit.
I am making up shit, but we don't have an answer, so here we go.
You're making up shit. Like,
Maybe that's why.
Why didn't we have a ride?
I don't know. Get me a Ouija board and ask Walt Disney.
No. And if you notice, when you start the World Showcase through Mexico, it's that side that has rides, not the other side.
Maybe it's the Swampland.
Right, because Ratatouille is new. That wasn't always
France,
there. Canada has visions of Canada. We're talking about Epcot Center here, people. And I don't know. You know, they should do a Morocco. They should do a freaking magic carpet ride.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
They don't have one?
No.
Really?
No, they don't.
Wait, isn't there somebody that has a magic carpet ride? Didn't they do one for Aladdin, like a magic carpet ride? Is that Disneyland?
Oh, I don't know.
I feel like,
but they don't.
I feel like.
And as a kid, I would always be like, but why doesn't the United States have a ride?
What do you think the ride would be?
I don't know. A subway?
A subway?
Well, what do you think the ride is going to be? Riding an American Eagle through like a forest?
Okay. Yes. That's exactly what it should be. It should be something fantastical. That's something I can do in New York over a weekend.
Although, listen, right now, we were to do a ride on the United States, I'd do it so like America in like, just a truck.
It'd be an F650.
Yeah.
And just...
We probably wouldn't be able to agree what to theme the U.S. ride as, right?
That's true.
Right? So, listeners, what do you think should be, if in the World Showcase in Epcot Center, if you were to do a ride for the United States?
Do we want to put parameters?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, what would be a fun one? Actually, I think this would be a great one.
Okay.
And it would be sort of in line with Disney World, with the Magic Kingdom, a river boat ride.
Oh, okay.
Like
a Tom Sawyer type thing.
I was gonna go with the slavery part of it.
Well, that's not where I went. I was just going, like a river, a raft.
Right, like rolling through the river. Right. I was thinking more Tina Turner.
More Tina Turner.
Yeah.
Okay.
We could do something like that.
We just want a Tina Turner ride.
I mean, that'd be good.
I'm not gonna say no.
I don't know, because now it would be complicated, because it's like with like the political correctness.
That's why I'm like,
how do you do the American ride?
Which way do you go? And what era of America do you focus on, and how do you focus on it without making people pissed off?
Yeah.
Right?
You're not gonna get anything.
Like, what is it going to be, like the Great Depression?
I don't know, but if I were to make a Miami ride, I'd make it like in 1981 cuando vinieron the post Marielito,
Speedboats.
Yeah, speedboats.
Speedboats as far as the eye can see.
Miami Vice,
I mean, essentially, it's Miami Vice the ride. And then the speedboat turns into a car.
Make a great roller coaster.
I mean, the soundtrack alone.
Imagine like the Aerosmith roller coaster. I just saw an indoor blacked out roller coaster that the actual car would be a speedboat.
Okay. Yes.
And then once you enter the roller coaster, it'd be like lots of palm tree, Art Deco buildings, and pink.
I mean, neon lights everywhere.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah. Welcome to Miami.
I like it. And then there's misting, because you're in a boat.
Sure.
Because you're in a boat. So like water. Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure. That would be my Miami ride.
Okay, done. Disney, we've given this to you on a
platter. And then the task, because all these rides have a task.
Of course, yeah, you have to have a story.
Was to catch a marimbero.
Okay, I like this.
Yeah, to catch the drug dealer.
I like this.
You're undercover for the Miami PD.
You've all been drafted for undercover cops with Miami Vice.
Marimberos are off the coast right now smuggling cocaine.
The only problem I'm going to have with this, and I know that this is going to happen, is that they're going to get somebody to narrate this thing that is super Anglo sounding, and they're not going to be able to pay to find somebody who can do both languages, and they're going to be like, "You've got to catch the marimbero," and that's going to bother me.
Listen, if there's going to be a Miami ride, there's only one person who can narrate it, and that's Pitbull. I mean, can there be anybody else?
You're right. You're right.
Because he's Mr. 305 and he's Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide.
So there's the local appeal.
That's a Venn diagram.
And then the international appeal. I mean, nobody but Pitbull
it writes
can do
itself.
That. Yeah.
Okay. Change approved.
Yeah.
All right. Done.
Dale.
Dale.
And he'll be like, Mommy, it's the Miami 305 ride.
Dale, we're gonna, and after this, we're all going for a cafecito.
Yeah. I don't know if Mondo would go down that, say that in the ride, but you know.
Well, they script it.
Right. Oh no, but definitely like a part of like the undercover thing would be like an undercover rig or something dressed as a ventanita. Like the possibilities are endless. Let's go on
really
to the next
is.
topic.
You know what? We're gonna get too excited about a ride that's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Miami theme park.
So the Miami theme park. Wow.
If they opened up a Miami theme park, that shit would be closed down in 6 months because you know that they did it on some type of like Medicare fraud and shit.
Oh yeah.
You know, they probably built it on a pyramid.
Everybody
scheme.
collected the PPP loans. Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you guys something. And when I mean you guys, I mean all of our listeners. Have you ever been friends with anybody who was part of a pyramid scheme? Because we've all had that family or friend.
Not that I know of.
Okay. So in the 90s here in Miami, and some of you listening will probably remember. Do you remember the whole thing of the necklaces, unique gems that everybody estaba haciendo collare?
Wait, this is ringing bells.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
Everybody was doing collares. And I remember that I had a cousin of mine that got into it. And we eventually, this was during when I was in high school. So this was like late 90s, right? And I remember that, well, I didn't know it was a pyramid scheme because I didn't know what a pyramid scheme was. Right. But it was, you know, he was making money of collares and it was unique gems. And everybody in Miami at that time was making these collares. And I remember that my cousin, we had like an assembly line at the house, right? Like I was doing them. My mom was doing them. My grandmother was doing, everybody was doing them. And I remember helping him because, you know, all I had to do was get the little beads and put the strings of beads and being like,
I think my mother did this.
And me thinking like, who would buy this shit? Like, who would buy this? Like, I didn't know what a pyramid scheme was. Right. But even that young.
Something off.
Even that young, I realized, I'm like, who's buying these necklaces? Right. And then, yeah. And then what I find so funny about pyramid schemes is that I've always sort of never understood in pyramid schemes how people fall for it. Because in any business that you do, this is like business 101. You don't have to know about business or be a business person to know this or have gone to business school. Business 101 is you want to overtake your competition, right?
Right, not create it.
You don't want to create competition, right? You want to overtake your competition, right?
Yeah, you don't have to go to Wharton for this.
Right? Yeah. And with all these like pyramid structures or pyramid schemes, they want you obviously to get other people to sell the product.
Right.
And I remember thinking like, but why would you want more people selling the product?
That's less for you. Right.
So they're going to buy less for you. Right. And those people, they're going to buy less for them and onward and onward and onward. So just from a business perspective, and again, I never went to Wharton. I never studied business. I remember being like a kid or like a teenager and being like, this makes no sense to me. And it's because it makes no sense, right? It makes no sense. Hey, you know, that very famous supplement that people down here in Miami used to sell like crazy, that everybody knew somebody who used to sell this supplement.
I wonder what has happened with all of those.
The supplement died down.
Yeah, but where did it go?
Oh, it's still in people's garages anymore at this point. But the great thing was how many people were selling that supplement. Right. And they really thought they were going to get rich.
Oh no!
They really thought
they were balling, bro.
Yeah, they really thought. You know, they went to those whatever conventions that these supplements.
There's always conventions
that these supplements would host, and those people got out of there thinking they were buying a Bugatti in, you know, a couple of months, and I was like,
maybe not.
And it was so crazy because a lot of these people that were selling this supplement, like their personality became the supplement. This wasn't that long ago.
No, you're absolutely right. It became this whole like, you know, it was on their license plate.
Yeah,
their
stickers,
their stickers, their phone case. It was just like
it was a lifestyle.
It was a cult.
And I'm like, you're selling a shake, bro.
Yeah, calm down.
Calm down.
Calm down. Es un batido.
Un batido.
Un batido y un batido mal.
Un batido malo. I remember I did that for one time. And I was thinking like, mira, le tengo que meter leche. All this stuff to just be able to take this down, right? So then what's the point?
Yeah, no. At least a pill. Come on, guys.
No, but okay. Like, for example, some of these protein shakes that you used to lift, they actually taste pretty good if you do them with milk. They're not bad.
No.
But those are not for caloric deficit, right?
Well, right.
Whereas these were more. Right. So it's like, okay, if I have to drink the shake to lose weight, that's fine. But don't post me on Instagram or your commercials like, oh, I'm enjoying this delicious smoothie. No, you're not. No, you're not.
You're not.
Carolina.
You're not even enjoying making the commercial. Also, her name was Caro.
Caro, yeah.
Not Carolina. It was Caro.
Yeah, it was Caro.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, whatever. Okay, so now what do you have?
There's never a Carolina.
It's true.
Even when there is, there isn't.
It's true.
So I actually, I saw something that I thought was interesting on Instagram, and I wanted to bring it up because it can go one of two ways, right? There's the cynic portion of it, and there's the have the conversation. So this guy who created this, I think it's an app or something called Loom, Loom. He sold his company for like, I don't know how many hundreds of millions of dollars.
As they always do.
As happens, whatever, fine. And he posted something, and I'm going to read to you what he posted. The headline is, I am rich and have no idea what to do with my life. And then under that, he put, life has been a haze this last year. After selling my company, I find myself in the totally unrelatable position of never having to work again. Everything feels like a side quest, but not in an inspiring way. I don't have the same base desires driving me to make money or gain status. I have infinite freedom, yet I don't know what to do with it. And honestly, I'm not the most optimistic about life. Now, that last part is a little cry for help, but
okay. So what do I think about this?
So I don't know. I'm of two minds.
Okay, so I think that statement. Obviously what's going on there is that there's some deeper issues, some mental health struggles there that I think are independent of his financial status. I think that even if he was not as wealthy and he had lived paycheck to paycheck or lived on a regular salary, I think he probably would suffer from a lot of those issues because I could imagine that being young and having financial freedom for the rest of your life, as interesting and sexy we might think that is, that does create a certain type of conundrum that it's like, okay, wait, I have money for the rest of my life.
So now what?
But I think obviously there's a lot of things that you can do to sort of fill up that space. But yes, there's a certain type of ambition that I think that you have that is just inherent when you're trying to make money.
Yeah.
Or you're trying to increase your wealth. And it seems that he doesn't have it. But based on what he posted there, I just think that he probably has some deeper issues going on.
Yeah. I mean,
my answer to that would be travel.
Okay, likewise, but I, in a weird way, I understand what he means.
I understand what he means exactly as well.
Because I know most people would read that and be like, oh, cry me a river, woe is me, poor you. And I get that too, right? Because again, somebody who has hundreds of millions of dollars saying like, I don't know what to do with my time. Everybody, like, I can tell you what to do. I know what I would do. But I think even travel, and I know I love travel as much as you do. I think that anything, the novelty wears off.
Absolutely.
Right. And then now what? And I think also that's why a lot of these people do eventually wind up, setting up like foundations and things like that. Because if you're not going to be working towards, gaining status or whatever, at least now you can set a goal, right? I'm going to help 100 people. I'm going to help 200 people. If I had that much money.
Yeah. Aside from travel, what would you do?
I think I would try to set up some type of a foundation.
For what?
I don't know. That's the part where I'm missing. I think I would want to do something with like kids and like encouraging, the arts.
Okay. That's good.
Something like that. Yeah. Like what form that would take, I don't know. But obviously at first it's like, I'm going to travel. I'm going to, buy. And it's funny. I wouldn't buy a house. I would buy a place, but I wouldn't buy like a place. I would be like, let me just go get a cute little apartment somewhere. Okay, a 1-bedroom nowadays is $1 million. And just kind of have it. Like I would settle myself, like and have a base or whatever, and then just travel without thinking about it.
Good.
Yeah. What would you do?
If I had that amount of money, I definitely would want to set up a foundation that would help people with their medical bills.
Okay.
Yeah, no matter what walk of life you're in, whether you're a child, whether you're an older person, to help people with their medical bills, because I think that is a really big problem in the United States.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Our medical bills, or the fact that you're dealing with already a crisis which is your health. And now on top of it, you have the anxiety and, you're worried about your financial stability. Right. So set up some type of foundation that would either help you with your medical bills or help you with your living expenses while you're undergoing treatment,
like
or
a
something.
McDonald house.
Whatever that may look like. Because I think about that all the time. And, sometimes you may be in a situation where you have family and friends that you can lean on, but what about if you don't? Or family and friends that could even help you, because sometimes you may have family and friends that they can't help you. So that's something that has always sort of, I've always thought about, because the last thing that and then I would probably set up some type of education sort of foundation. I really, really believe, especially, specifically to the United States, and we see it now more than ever, I really, really believe in teaching kids civics. I think that all Americans really need to know civics. And
why? I don't know.
Well, the fact that most Americans don't know that we have 3 branches of government, let alone how they work.
Right, but branches are for a tree, Darien.
And let alone what checks and balances are, and so on and so forth. Yeah. I say this story all the time. I remember some time ago, I was at my parents' house, and it was like a typical Sunday or whatever that everybody was there. My brother, my parents, my cousins, everybody's spouses, the kids. Like my parents' house that day was packed to the brim.
A typical Borges weekend.
Tapped to the brim. And I remember I was talking about that. I was talking about the 3 branches of government, and I forget who it was. They were like, wow, but that's because you've always been so smart, and you've always loved history, and and you learned that in law school. And I'm like, no, the 3 branches of government and checks and balances, that thing I just spoke about. I learned that in 7th grade civics with Mr. Range in Riviera Middle School. I just listened. And
you have Mr. Range?
No, the 7th grade I had Miss Sanders.
That's right.
Mr. Range was 8th grade. Miss Sanders. I actually listened, paid attention, and learned it.
Right.
And
and there you go.
I'm just a Bill on Capitol Hill. I guess I grew up on Schoolhouse Rocks too. So I think that civics is just something that is so important. I think that most people have no idea how their government works, both on a local, state, and certainly federal level. And I think if you don't know how something works, you're easier to believe somebody who tells you that it's like this or it's not like this, because you yourself don't have the knowledge to know how it really is. So if you don't have the proper knowledge, you can't tell when something is off one way or the other. And I've always been I have a really good friend of mine, Maide, shout out to Maide, that she's making it like a personal goal of hers. And she actually has set up a program about teaching civics to children and civic duty and civic responsibility.
Oh,
wow. She's really big on it. And she's written a kid's book on it or a manual.
Oh, we should have her on.
Yeah, you know her. You've met her.
Yeah, we should have. But I didn't know all this.
She's great on that. That's a good one. You know what? That we're sort of thinking of a Hangando series.
We're scheduling an episode right now.
But it's funny because obviously I've always been very civically engaged since I was a kid. I remember in high school, when it was through our time in high school that they started the mandatory voluntary hours, and everybody would hate it. And I'd be like, we're doing community service. I was that kid, right? Because I sort of understood the importance of it.
Is that still a requirement?
Yes. So I've always been civically engaged, and I understand that not everybody is, and that's fine. But you
have to have a base.
I just think that, especially now, it's sort of the Netflix, what is it, paradigm or paradox, that now there's so much information and there's so many voices out there that you are overwhelmed. And now, because there's so much content, a lot of that content is wrong, or a lot of that content is biased. So now it's sort of a disservice to you how to cipher through things and navigate through things as to what, if I want to learn about something, right? And civics is just something that kids should know, kids should learn, because I think you understand. And I think that if you talk to the average American about basic fundamentals about their government, they have no idea how it talks about. I think that the average American has absolutely no clue how a bill is introduced into Congress and how it becomes law. Like, they have absolutely no clue. And that's not something that you learn in law school, or you learn if you study political science
or a PhD.
That is something that you literally can learn from Schoolhouse Rocks, which is a cartoon. It was a PSA, and most people don't know what a PSA means. But it's true. It's true.
No, you're not wrong.
You know? So, and I think that that's a problem. And I think that's been one of the reasons why we are where we are today. People don't know how their government works at all. So
no, but they don't
le meten cualquier paquete, and they believe it.
Yeah, I mean, they don't know how they.
And everybody's to blame for that, by the way.
No, 100%.
I'm not blaming one side. I'm not blaming another.
But
I think everybody's to blame for that.
But I also will say, people don't know. You know, if you don't know how something works, you should seek out the information. Now, like you just said, the problem becomes when you go look for the information, and you've got 70 different people saying that they are the correct information. If you don't have any clue, how the hell do you decipher which is which? I mean, some are a little more obvious than others, but a lot of people also don't even bother to go seek out information.
Right. But the problem is they don't bother to seek out information because they're being bombarded by so many voices nowadays that they believe that that is how something is. Oh, because I heard from so-and-so say that.
Right.
And the thing is, well, but who is so-and-so? Right? Because today we have a lot of people with opinions.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people with opinions, but not a lot of people with facts.
Oh, I like that.
Right. And it's just so much. And a lot of these times, these people with different opinions come in a very credible looking package.
They're packaged well.
They know how to speak. They speak very sensibly. They use the right words. They know how to get through people. They don't
look like somebody who's,
they look like they're making perfect sense.
Yeah.
So if you're somebody who just is uninformed, and I don't mean that as an insult, you just don't know about something.
Everything.
You just don't know about something, and you have this bombardment of information your way. It's very easy to sort of manipulate or skew someone into thinking something. Right. So yeah, 7th grade civics, bro. That's where it's at.
Speaking of bro, Miami creation myth, I'm buying that tank top.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
That's awesome, bro.
Like we said, you know what? We were gender fluid before it was a thing.
Yeah. I think that bro in Miami, I'm not the only person to say that. Bro in Miami is the equivalent of dude in the West Coast.
Yeah, it's exactly.
You call a girl dude.
Yeah.
Dude.
And
then bro is also like dude in the same, like bro.
Bruh.
Bro.
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 Bruh.
Bro, let's move on.
All right.
Let's move on, bro.
All right, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lucy says that all the time. She's just like, yeah, there's all different types of bros depending on what you're trying to.
Yeah.
You
could say so much with so little.
You know, it's a talent.
It really is.
It really is a talent. Yeah.
I guess you could do that with girl too.
You can, but it sounds more ethnic
or gay.
Fair, but yes.
I guess you could say it with boy as well. Now that I think about it.
No, boy doesn't. I think it's just because boy has too few letters and the way that they're arranged.
Oh, and bro doesn't?
No, but bro has the R.
Okay, that's true.
Which, you can like either go right, it's like, bro. It lands. Whereas with boy, it's like boy.
Yeah.
It doesn't. No se presta.
Yeah. And bro, you could extend the O.
Right. Like you can't go boy.
I guess you can.
Well, I mean, I think Flavor Flav did.
I didn't want to kill my best friend.
Just like I can't stop thinking about the fact that she was in her 30s, right?
Yolanda Saldiva, when she killed Celia, she was like 33, 34.
What an awful early 30s.
Wait. She was Taylor Swift's age.
Wow.
Yeah.
Coño.
That's a bad that's a rotten 34.
I mean, you want to talk about bad
Yolanda Saldivar was the same age. Actually, I think Taylor Swift is. I know Taylor Swift was born in 1989 because of the album. Right. So that's an easy one. Right. So she's 36.
So she's actually older than Yolanda was.
Yeah. Tell me about that for comparison.
Wow.
Well, isn't Sabrina Carpenter like in her 30s or she's still in her 20s?
I think Sabrina Carpenter's probably like 28.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was only a few years older than Sabrina Carpenter.
Man.
Okay, wait. You know who's 32? Isn't Miley Cyrus 32?
Probably.
Miley Cyrus was born in 1992. I know this because it was a year of Andrew. She was born in 1992. So that makes her 32, 33. She's more or less the same age Yolanda Sandiva was when she killed Selena.
Man, that's a different 32.
It's a different 32.
Very different 32.
I didn't want to kill my best friend.
Wow.
Never trust somebody who gives you an egg ring.
Yeah. I don't want to wear food.
So fucking ugly.
Oh.
Well, I mean, it was similar to one of the movie.
Well, but I mean, look at what she looked like in her 30s. She didn't have taste. I mean, she wasn't haute couture.
Oh, what?
Haute couture?
Oh, no. She was Selena. She ran Selena's boutique, Selena, etc.
I think she was the period in the etc.
Una. You know what? I just thought about Barrio Boys. What are Barrio Boys doing nowadays?
I mean, they're probably in gentrification.
It's not
a barrio anymore.
You're so stupid. Dude, the Barrio Boys had hits.
I'm not saying they didn't. I'm just saying the barrio now has a Starbucks.
Una vez más, do you remember that song? Una vez más, amarte y besar cada esquina.
I'd forgotten that song.
The Barrio Boys were the freaking like Latino boys to men.
Okay.
You know, they had the moves, they R&B, you know.
A lot of their videos were on streets.
On streets, they wore a lot of flannel.
They did wear a lot of
flannel. And their videos were a lot of different scenes with no plot or storyline.
No connecting. Yeah, them and Boyz II Men wore more clothing than dancers at a Broadway audition.
They wore a lot. The Boyz II Men had a lot of layers.
They did.
Yeah. You know that, speaking of Boyz II Men, their second album, 2, and again, you got to be over a certain age to get this. Their second album, 2, which is the album that had I'll Make Love to You, Bend a Knee, Water Runs Dry. I'll never forget that when you would open that album, it'll say Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 1994. Like, oh man, that was over 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And that album was such a big deal for us.
The album was huge.
Yeah.
The album's still huge.
You know, I was talking to somebody the other day.
The radio that got small.
I was talking to somebody the other day, made me feel really old. And I was like, hey.
Was it Chris?
And I was like, hey, don't you remember when you used to get home and get those Columbia House CDs? Junior, do you remember Columbia House CDs?
Yes.
Okay.
And how old was this person who you thought would remember this?
Nah, he's in his late 30s. He's like 38. You know?
Okay. So
yeah, I didn't remember because he didn't remember. Okay. But okay, let's try and time travel back to the 90s. All right.
All right.
Listeners, remember you're in high school. You would get home from school. You'd open the door, you go through the living room, and you see that box.
That little brown
box waiting for you.
The blue letters.
And that box was from Columbia House. And you would open it, and you would have like 12, 14 CDs. And back then, because it used to take about 5 years for you to get the shipping, you didn't even know what was in there. You forgot what CDs you had ordered, right? I didn't know what CD. Oh, look, Salt and Pepper, Ace of Base, the Gin Blossoms,
What a wonderfully diverse box.
Well, we're talking about me
I
here,
know, but
right?
how fantastic. I like this. Yeah.
You would open up that box, and for that moment, you just had all the happiness in the world. And then I would look at these CDs, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, it was like 12 CDs.
There will never be a better time.
What a time to be alive, right? What a time to be alive. I remember one of the distinctive CDs I remember getting, and I thought I was so badass, was Jagged Little Pill.
Oh, you rebel.
And I got all the Pearl Jams. I got, like 10 versus Vitology. Like, I ordered all the Pearl Jams because my mom would get mad when I would would buy like rock CDs. You know, she would be like,
but not when they would come in the box.
no, she didn't know what was in the box.
Oh, okay. Wow. And yet we're talking about Yolanda again.
My mom couldn't control the box.
Well, because that's televisión que tú controlas.
No, my mom couldn't even control that box because my mom doesn't know till this day how to work out remote control. But she didn't know what I was ordering from Columbia House, and my dad would be like, "¿Qué tú ordenaste de Colombia?" Like. But the happiness that you would have when you would get those Columbia House CDs, and we never paid for it because God knows I never paid for it.
Yeah.
If Columbia House has
I'm pretty sure we're the reason for the deficit somehow.
Yeah, I probably owe thousands of dollars at this point to Columbia House. I mean,
you probably owe Columbia House more than your student loans.
I mean, I would say it's up there.
If we
calculate
interest.
And then, the thing was that for me, and I'm sure everybody did this, I would then keep applying to Columbia House under different names.
Yeah. So you keep getting the penny.
I'd be like Ajax Ramirez.
That is a great name.
Don't you remember that I would use the name Ajax like when I went to Sábado Gigante or something?
Oh, no, I didn't.
I would use Ajax as a name. Aha. Ajax like the detergent. Yeah.
Oh, I did not know about Ajax.
Yeah. You know about Frank.
I know Frank.
Right.
But not Ajax. Yeah.
Our fake names. And then, I would just keep on and on and on. And I think they would ask you what for like a quarter, and you would have to send like a quarter pasted to the little.
Yeah, it was a penny.
A penny or whatever it was. Whatever it was. So, man, the days of Columbia House, that was what a time to be alive. Listeners, do you remember Columbia House? And if you did join Columbia House, what CDs did you order from Columbia House? Let us know in the comments.
That'd be great.
Bring back Columbia House. Like, bring back CDs.
I mean, Columbia House already wasn't making any money. What's the difference?
I know.
What's one more failing business?
And you know what was the worst? You know what was the worst of Columbia House? When you would not send back the card, and you would get the featured selection of the month.
That's how I wound up with a CD of Ana Gabriel.
I remember, God bless him, because he just passed away. I got a CD from Robbie Robertson, and I'm like, who's Robbie Robertson?
Wow.
He's from some band called The Band.
I think he's a Broadway.
No. He was
like a Robbie Benson. Sorry, I'm thinking Robbie Benson.
Because always the featured selection of the month was always some random singer that you either didn't know or was like super old. Yeah. It was never like,
the latest CD.
Yeah. And if you didn't send back that card, you're getting the featured selection of the month. And that one you had to pay for.
You did.
That one was like $12.
That was a regular price CD.
Yeah, it was like $12.
How dare you? I just got 12 for a penny. Now you want me to pay 12 for one?
Yeah, for one that I don't even want,
No, I will not be paying $15 for Ana Gabriel.
Yeah. Jagged Little Pill, man. That was...
What a time.
What a time.
What a time. Back when we were friends with Canada. It was just
I used to get on Columbia House. I used to get a lot of like rock and hip hop, the things my mom did not want me to be listening to. Cause
is that how you got?
And then when I'd go on the CD, CD shopping, it'd be like Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men.
Oh, okay. My favorite story though is your mother with Free Your Mind.
Oh yeah, my mom. Who was I telling the story to the other day? No, you've known that story, but I was telling somebody here at the studio the other day that my mom, when I was
when Cuban dude was here.
Oh yeah. My mom.
Injuries coming up.
Yeah, my mom. We were kids practically when grunge was really in the 90s, and my mom was always so worried that I was gonna be like un rockero. Like I was going to be a rocker, right? And especially in high school, I had long hair.
And you love flannel.
I liked flannel. And I would remember the pocket chain. I had the chain, remember?
Yeah. It was either rocker or lesbian.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, I wasn't going to be a lesbian.
This is why I'm saying this was the only two options, and clearly it wasn't the lesbian.
Anyway, and my mom was always so worried that I was gonna be un rockero, which I did like a lot of rock music at that time, but I wasn't a rockero, right? But most kids at that time really liked rock music because that was really, and that was like the music of our
listening to,
of our youth, if you will, like early teenagehood, but whatever. But I also liked R&B and pop and all that, and I remember I was listening to free your mind. And then I've always been the type, I've always been very blessed. I've always had a good stereo system. Remember, you used to say that I should charge admission to my room.
You should,
because I was like one of the pioneers of surround sound.
Yes.
Like I had like 5 speakers in my room, and I always had like a big TV. I was always that kid. That was like,
your bedroom was like the real life version of that Memorex commercial. Just.
Yeah. And anyway, so I would always play till this day when I play the radio at home, I play it loud. I'm not putting it on 10. I'm putting it on 50. Like I put it all the way up. That's just how I've always listened to the radio. So I was listening to my music really loud, and Free Your Mind by En Vogue comes up. And you know that song has like a huge guitar riff.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's the whole bass.
My mom comes in very dramatic, and she's like, te lo dije, te has vuelto un rockero. And I'm like, Mom, this is En Vogue, and they're talking about racism. Like, que rockero, que rockero.
The Funky Divas are going to make you a headbanger.
And my mom was so concerned that I was listening to Free Your Mind by En Vogue. She didn't know who En Vogue was. Like,
she was still trying to find Boney M.
Oh my God, my parents got so pissed one time.
What did you do?
Because of my brother, because my brother would rile them up, Mr. Conservative, because I was watching, I was like every kid, I was into Soundgarden. Black Hole Sun. Yeah. Won't you come? Do you remember the video?
Of course. Everybody's like melting.
Yeah. And like it was like weird close-ups and all that. And I remember I had it on MTV, and my brother's like, mira la podrición que está viendo. Mind you,
your brother's like 3 years older than you.
Well, he's 8 years older than me. But at that time he was like 21.
Right. He's talking like an 80-year-old.
22. Yeah. And he's like, mira la podrición que Darien está viendo. And my parents like, quita eso. Eso es una depravación. And I'm like, oh, come on. It's Soundgarden. Like,
also, it's not depraved. I mean, they're just odd looking.
Whatever. They didn't know.
They didn't know.
By this point, my parents had been here from Cuba like 10 years, but they still didn't know about music.
Well, they didn't know about the Black Hole Sun.
No.
Or the Sound Garden.
No.
They only knew about the regular garden and the Olive Garden.
El Oliver Garden. Why is it? Can I ask that to our listeners who have like a Spanish speaking parent, which is probably 99.9% of you, specifically maybe Cubans. Why is it they don't say El Olive Garden? It's always an Oliver Garden. They add an ER to Olive. You've never noticed that?
No.
Oh yeah, it's an Oliver Garden. Yeah. It's Oliver Garden. I'm not sure why.
That sounds like a detective.
Oh yeah, always. I could call my mom right now.
¿Dónde te gusta ir a comer para el Oliver Garden?
We should do that. Can we do that? You want to do that?
I mean, I'm not going to say no. I think at this point the listeners
if this goes wrong, we could edit this out.
Our Pero Primos at this point have heard so much about your mother, but they've never heard your mother.
Okay, hold on. If this goes wrong, we could edit it out. Calling my parents live on Pero, let me tell you.
Now watch her not pick up the one time.
She's blow drying her hair. Okay, hold on. Mary, pick up. What time is it? Okay, no, she's still awake.
She might be blow drying her hair. Because that's the ritual.
Mamá.
Hola, hijo.
Ponme a mi mamá un momentico.
Ok. ¿Ya terminaste el podcast?
No, estoy algo en eso, espérate.
¿Aló?
Mamá, ok, ahora no me acuerdo. ¿Cómo se llama este restaurante italiano que a ti te gusta mucho con los pancitos?
¿Cuál es pancito?
El restaurante italiano que nosotros vamos mucho.
Olive Garden, no. Ese no es italiano.
No, sí, ¿cómo es? ¿Cómo es?
Olive Garden, ¿no?
Sí, ok, bueno, bye.
Ay, tu
What I love, actually, to me, the best part about that is number one, that she said it, but number two, that she had this weird, like, Madonna-esque accent when she said it, because all of a sudden it was like, Oliver Garden.
Okay, you people have to understand. I love my parents. My parents.
Oh, listen. At this point, all of our Pero Primos live for stories of your parents.
My parents, like, I don't like to.
Yes.
I don't like to ridicule. I don't want to be that guy from the Tom Green show. But the thing is that I think my parents are hilarious.
Listen, all of our Pero Primos are always wanting your parents to be on the show. So
Because the thing is that my dad can be really funny, but he's really serious. And then my mom is so naive about things.
your mother has no idea she's hilarious.
She doesn't.
She has zero clue. Just
Do you know what,
untapped
listeners?
hilarity.
Do you know what is the greatest story of my mother? The greatest story. So I was in Italy. This was years ago. I was in Italy, and I actually had gone to Italy with some of our friends, and so they were there to witness that. So I go to Italy and I buy some shoes, and then I had hung out by like with my friends, and then I later meet up with my parents, and I go to my mom. Ma, mira los zapatos que me compré, right? And I take out one shoe from the bag. And she holds the shoe and she looks at it. She's like, "Ay, qué bonito. Pero tú te compraste el otro."
Okay, but do you think that was her attempting to be funny?
Do you know my mother? Do you think that was my mother attempting to be funny?
No,
That was my mom really questioning my life choices. If I bought one shoe, like,
I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. Whatever. You know my favorite Nery story.
Which one?
The one I was there to experience that you.
Oh,
were
the
not.
one of Paris
The one
Hilton.
Paris Hilton.
Yeah, that one was a great story.
That is the greatest story ever.
Retell the story.
I will retell this story because Junior doesn't know this story.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and this wasn't long ago. This was like a year ago.
At most. Yeah. So for some reason, Paris Hilton was in town when the Latin billboards were happening, and so the next day we had a pop up. So I was at Darien's house. Darien was upstairs. I was in the kitchen, and Darien's parents were there because we were going to stay with Tristan when we had to leave. So they're watching Rojo Vivo on Telemundo, and it's like the next day of the award show. So they're doing the whole recap thing, right? For some reason, Paris Hilton shows up. And out of nowhere, your mother has been like, "Ay, a mí me encanta como ella canta." And your father has turned without missing a beat and been like, "Pero si esa es Paris Hilton, ella no canta ni hace nada." And she's like, "No, sí, pero ella tiene una canción que a mí me gusta." And then they kept going back and forth, and I don't know why I felt the need to insert myself into this
conversation.
And because I was like, maybe I can try to salvage something here. And so I was like, no, es que, bueno, sí, ella tuvo un disco, pero hace años atrás, Stars Are Blind. And your father's like, sí, pero imagínate ese disco, no sé qué. And what my favorite part about this whole thing was that in the span of that maybe 10-minute conversation, maximum.
That's a long
10
conversation.
I'm saying 10-minute back and forth of everything happening. Your mother went from, "Ay, es que ella me encanta," to, "¿Será ella? ¿Qué canción es? Pero es la canción de ella entonces." Yeah. Like she went from loving Paris Hilton's music to questioning whether she knew who Paris Hilton even was.
Yeah.
I think to this day it's great. I think your mother is a Paris Hilton fan. She just,
she knows. She knows.
She knows all of them. She probably went to her DJ set.
I used to prank my mom so badly because my mom is very naive. So my mom, before she retired, she had this habit that she would leave. You probably saw this.
Yes, I did.
She would leave her clothing on the sofa in the living room. She would leave what she was going to wear, like the shirt, the blouse, the skirt, the shoes, whatever. She would leave it out because then the next morning when she would get dressed, she would get dressed. I don't know. My mom got dressed in the living room. I don't know why.
Yeah, she would lay it out like the scene in Beetlejuice where they have the clothing on the bed, like, and just
So you know what I would do? When she wasn't looking, I'd go and switch the clothing.
You wouldn't. Malo.
Like, when she was gonna go to bed and she was in the bathroom, doing that final run through in the bathroom, I'd go to her closet and just get any random thing and lay it out on the sofa.
And here's your mother going out of her way para no molestar a tu papá.
Wait, but hold on.
And she would wear it.
She'd wear it.
You're awful.
And then another thing I would do to my mom is my mom, before she retired again, she used to maybe like on Sundays when she did the groceries. She would like buy una panetela or something to take to work. Hold on. She would buying una panetela or something to work, right? Ay, me compré esta panetela para llevar al trabajo mañana. She would do that sometimes, right? But then other times, she, it was on Sunday.
Right.
She'd go grocery shopping on Sunday. So she'd buy una panetela, a cake to bring to the house because she knows that Sunday is when everybody goes to the house and my brother and all that. So I remember one day she had brought, I don't know, some chocolate chip panetela or something to the house. And my brother, and she had bought it for us.
Okay.
And my brother goes to have a piece. And I'm like, don't touch that. That's for mom to take to work. And he's like, oh, I didn't know. And then my mom comes, ay, pero ¿por qué tú no te estás comiendo la panetela? I'm like, because he told me you're taking it to work. And she's like, I'm not taking it to work. I brought it for you guys. And I go, no, you didn't. You brought that panetela a little while ago and you told me not to eat la panetela because you're taking it to work tomorrow. And she's like, ay, pero seré yo una estúpida porque yo dije eso. Eso no es para ustedes. Ay, ahora mismo voy al Pablo y comprar una panetela.
You are awful with your mother. This poor woman.
I've done so many things to her. I used to put the shampoo in the conditioner, and the conditioner in the shampoo.
It's a wonder they kept you.
You know what I did one time to my parents? Okay, there's a couple of things I've done to my parents. Again, I have a really good relationship with my parents, so whatever. I think that deep down inside, I've always thought that because my brother is older than me, and I was the second child, and my parents didn't have me later in life. They had me in their 30s.
Very young.
They had me in their 30s, but I sort of kept them younger, right?
Okay.
I kept them young.
Yeah.
And I was very
Travieso, yeah.
Travieso, so I kept them on their feet.
Yeah.
So they there's a part of them that sort of would laugh with it. So, there was a day, and again, this wasn't so long ago. This wasn't me being a teenager. I was like well into my 30s. Like one day I was at my parents' house, and when they weren't watching, I switched their closets and I switched all their clothing from their drawers. I inverted it. Like my mom had the left and my dad had the right, and I inverted it. And the closets, I inverted it, and they just kept it.
This was life now.
Yeah. And then another thing I did was one day, this took me a while, but I did it. They weren't home, but I have the keys to my parents' house. Todos los cuadros en la casa completa, all of them, I turned the pictures upside down.
So they came in, everybody was
Upside down, right? But they didn't notice for weeks. What do you mean? They didn't notice. When do you stop to look at the picture frames in your house? You don't.
If they're upside down,
They didn't.
I
They
would
didn't
notice.
notice.
I like to think I would notice. Let me put
They
it that
did
way.
not
I like to think I
notice.
would notice.
They did not notice. And then the greatest prank I've ever pulled was my father. The greatest.
Wait, I
so
feel like-
I'm
I feel
gonna
like I
tell
know this
everybody
one.
what it is because
I do know.
this is
Okay.
something you could do.
Yes, take note. April Fool already passed. But
You could do to your family. So my father loves to take hot showers.
this was awful. This was awful and wonderful all at the same time.
Oh my God. My father loves to take welcome to pranking your parents on Pero, let me tell you. My father loves to take hot showers, like scorching hot. So one year, again, I was well into my 30s. I got un cubito de pollo.
A little bouillon.
A bouillon, little cubito, un cubito de pollo. And I undid the shower head and I packed that thing in there in the little thing of the shower head, screwed it back on. So when my father turns on the hot water, he bathed in hot chicken soup and caldo de pollo, baby. And my father
Caldo de
comes out of the
cemento.
bathroom saying, "Sácame el agua." And then I go in and I'm like, well, there's nothing wrong with the water. Pero ¿cómo tú vas a decir? I'm like, what are you talking about? Esa es sopa. Okay, we gotta move on from this.
You know what? Let's go to the last sodas because
And that is
there's
pranking
nothing
your parents
else.
on Pero, let me tell you. I'm fortunate enough to have amazing parents I can prank.
Prank corner. Prank corner with Darien.
Have you pranked your parents? People, have you pranked your parents?
It's a fine line between a prank.
Junior, have you pranked your parents?
No.
Oh, come on.
Me parten la madre y el Espíritu Santo if I try any gimmicks or games. So ahí estamos.
Your mom, yes. Your dad.
Well, my father has no sense of humor.
Your dad is not going to end well.
My father has no sense of humor. So yeah, my mother, I could probably prank
But you
her.
know the funny thing is that like if you look at my dad, you would think that my dad doesn't have a sense of humor, but he totally does.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your dad doesn't. I don't think
No.
so.
No. At all. No. Not even a little bit.
Your mom, I could see.
Oh no, my mom,
having fun with it.
Yeah, would be like Domingo or whatever, whatever. But yeah, but no.
But then the fun thing of your dad would be pranking him and being how he totally doesn't get it.
Right, but then it's devoid of anything. Like there's no enjoyment there.
Getting mad with Joaquin.
Yeah, like there's no fun.
Your dad wouldn't like un cubito de pollo in the shower.
I don't think so. No. No. But you know what the funny thing is? Again, how it all comes full circle. And I'm sure you're seeing this with your parents too, right? Like Tristan and your nephew and niece can probably get away with doing a whole bunch of shit that you and I could not get away with. So I'm sure like if my nephews were to do something like that to my father, he'd be like, this is the funniest thing that's ever done. You know? So yeah, exactly.
You guys are hilarious.
Yeah,
Okay, let's
you
move on
got
to the
me.
last
You
soda.
got me.
Let's move on to the last soda.
Not the last sopa.
La last sopa. Un caldo de sopa.
Un caldo de pollo.
Un caldo de pollo.
All right. Do you want to go first?
Yes.
Go.
So, we had a full circle moment today on Pero, let me tell you here.
Okay.
So, our lemon lime video is still going strong.
Still going strong.
Still going strong. And we've had Eva Longoria like our video. A bunch of celebrities have liked our video. But today, we had Angela Carrasco like our video.
She did?
And if for those of you who recall, Angela Carrasco is this very famous Dominican singer.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was really, really big in like the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And your parents will know if you don't know her. And she liked our lemon lime video and she even commented. And
I didn't see that one.
And the great thing about her is that I've said it here on the show. Angela Carrasco was the first concert I ever went to, 1993 in the James L. Knight Center. Like with my parents.
You know what? Let's see if we can get her on the show.
Okay. So
why not? What else?
No, she lives in Spain now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, then that's
Yeah,
a little
no.
different. I mean, we can do virtual, but that's a little hard.
No, she's not going to fly to Miami to be on Pero. Let me tell you, but if you are in Miami.
If you're in Miami.
Yeah, that was the first concert I ever went to. So, full circle moment.
Look
you know,
at
she
that.
liked our lemon lime video. So, Angela Carrasco, last soda for you.
Well, that's a good one. That's a good one. Mine is also kind of a Pero, let me tell you, full circle as well. So, this week has been the Miami Film Festival has been going on, and so last night Jose and I went to go see a movie that was written, stars, and co-directed by friend of the pod Juan Pablo Di Pace.
Oh yeah,
Duino, and he was in attendance, and we're gonna coordinate for when the movie comes out to do a virtual interview. We were trying to coordinate to have him come in studio. We couldn't make it work, but he has been doing the entire tour. The film festival circuit to promote it. Miami was the finale of the tour, as he was saying it. And I will say the movie, for somebody who is a first-time feature director, was beautifully shot. He wrote the thing. He was working on it for 4 years. It's semi-autobiographical. It was just a very, very good movie. It was very well done. It was very interesting for me, and it probably would be for you, to see him in this, non-Fernando role, because I mean, I've seen him do other things, but this is like a quote unquote dramatic role, right? And so it's very different. And also he gets
Fernando from Fuller House.
And he also, he gets to act like in Spanish, Argentino. He's been speaking, it was filmed in Buenos Aires and in Italy. And so if you have a chance to check it out, it's called Duino, Duino. It's named for the city in Italy that the flashbacks take place in. And it's about lost love and, trying to close a chapter in your life that you didn't realize was having such an impact on you as you got older. And it's just very well done. And again, he was there at the screening, and he was absolutely lovely, and we had a chance to chat, and he thanked us for all of our support over the years and all that. So
awesome. Well, that's a good one, and I will forever be thankful to him that he made my dream come true of going to see a taping of Fuller House in LA and sitting at the Tanner House set on that sofa. I mean, that was a full circle moment for me when I was in that set. I'm happy you got to see it.
Yeah.
I'm happy that somebody close to me got to see it because, Anyway, okay.
It was like when I saw you share the moment with Mariah.
Yeah. Share that moment. So, anyway, this was a sort of off the rails again.
It's always off the rails to a degree.
So everybody go buy a cubito de pollo to put it in your shower to prank your parents or anybody else that you love.
Yeah, because you can't get 12 CDs for a penny.
So my parents were featured today on the show.
They were. That's right. Ooh, maybe that'll be the title. Better we've got DJ's parents.
We should do that. We should do that more often. Anyway, everybody, we hope you listen, laughed, and learned. And as always, remember to grab your pastelito, your croqueta, and your cafecito. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Have a great weekend.
See you next week.